Hi guys, great show. Sadio Mane will leave Liverpool with warm, heartfelt good wishes from all of our supporters. He's been magnificent for the Reds since Klopp signed him 6 years ago. As for Salah, he and his agent are clearly holding the club to ransom. Liverpool should just sell him now. I don't care if he goes now. It's pure greed and lack of respect for our great club. Pete the Red says you'll never walk alone. Sadio Mane, surely he's worth more than £40 million in today's market. Liverpool selling him cheap and someone getting a bargain. He has to be up there with one of the best goal scorers. What do you think? Well, we said the only reason that they'll be selling him for any cheaper than £40 million was because he's only got a year on his contract, so he's going to leave for free this time next year.
I think on the Mo Salah thing, he needs to get what he thinks he's worth. Yeah. Being realistic, you can understand, because this is going to be his last probably big contract, isn't it, at the age that he is? So yeah, you can understand. And again, I don't think any Liverpool fans could question his attitude, even though he's going for.
But Liverpool clearly want him to stay because they have offered him contract after contract, and they haven't come to the party yet. And a lot of these contract negotiations, maybe not the specifics of, but indications of what is going on behind the scenes, has been conducted in public, and I'm not necessarily sure that's good for anyone, is it?
Well, to be fair to Mo Salah, he hasn't actually said anything at all himself.
Well, he has, actually. He's come out and said, Liverpool know what I want. I'm not asking the earth. They know what I'm worth, basically, and they should give it to me. He's been pretty explicit about that. But I think because people are asking him, and he's just saying, well, there's the figure. They know. So Liverpool seems like they're getting, each time they come back, probably a little bit closer to it. Do you think they're reluctant to break their wage structure for Mo Salah?
Yeah, but you can get that as well. You can
would you break it for him?
Mo Salah? Yeah, in a heartbeat. Because other players don't care. Trust me, as long as that player is playing well and doing his job for the team, they don't care how much money you're on. It's if you're on loads of money and you're not putting a shift in, you're not pulling your weight, or you're being disruptive, that's when other players get the ump.
Would Liverpool be right to be a little bit worried about his form and the way it tailed off towards the end of the season? Because he went into the African Cup of Nations scoring 23 goals in 26 games, and then came out of the African Cup of Nations and scored just 8 in 25. In fact, he only scored 3 non-penalty goals in his last 20 appearances of the season in all competitions.
He wasn't his sharp self, was it? He did look a little bit on the jaded side, but if he gets a nice rest, which he will do in the summer, then he'll come back like firing. There's no doubt of that. Whether it would be in your top 3 players in world football, wouldn't he, now?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the season, he was arguably the best player in the world. He was scoring, 23 and 26, and he literally couldn't stop putting the ball in the back of the net. He was having massive impacts on games. He was scoring terrific goals in matches against Manchester City. That wonderful goal he scored there. The goal he scored at Watford was absolutely outrageous. And the fact that he was playing so well probably actually shows up his statistics in the second half of the season, where they haven't been as good, but mainly because he was so brilliant in the first half. And but also, ultimately, he was up there with one of the best in the world at that point.
Then it's what it costs you to go and replace him. Because if he stays, which he does, he guarantees you 20-plus goals a season. Yeah,
although the way they've managed to spend their money so far has been pretty
recruitment,
impressive.
We said about Sadio Mane.
Diaz, for example.
To be fair,
fantastic.
But Salah, I think, has gone onto that different level.
Yeah, it is a difficult summer for Liverpool in a sense, isn't it? If one of those 2 players or both those 2 players are going to leave, they have to recruit somebody else. But also, they are in the midst of a changeover in terms of recruitment, because Michael Edwards is leaving at the end of this season.
Do you think that gives Jurgen Klopp even more power?
Well, yeah, because he's being replaced by the assistant, isn't he? And as a result of that, Jurgen Klopp may be getting a little bit more control of the situation.
So he should. He deserves every control, what he's done for that football club. So he should get the most control. And when you see what Man City are doing, with obviously Haaland going in up the road as well, where I know you mentioned about the Bundesliga, but Erling Haaland, if he stays fit, with the amount of chances that Man City create, even they've scored like plethora of goals this season, they spread it around the team. You've seen them loads of times. I've seen how many times the ball gets whipped across like the 6-yard box from Kevin De Bruyne, or and you think.
The only thing I'll say is that, remember, last year they were doing that and they didn't have a centre forward, but actually next year they won't be doing that as much, maybe because in the build-up they won't have as many players in that build-up area. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does, but they still get into those areas, and you still need someone in that 6-yard box to finish it. I'll be amazed if he doesn't get 25 to 30 from Man City.